Alright, so the NFL went ahead and reinstated several members, but left Isaiah Rodgers out. Let's talk about why that is, if we should be concerned, and how much of an impact will that have on the Eagles' defense. Plus, another running back visited Philly, and a whole lot more. But first, let's run it. Hey guys, it's a Friday, so hope y'all are doing well. Do me a favor and smash that like button, because we made it to the weekend. And reminder about the Devontae Smith jersey giveaway on the next live stream for those that want to hang out. Speaking of memorabilia though, Jason Kelce has signed Lombardi trophies that will be getting shipped out in May, so I've got a link in the description if you're interested. And while that's pretty cool, it's not so cool that Jason lost his Super Bowl ring.
Chili. This is actually technically a three-way. It's not just Skyline chili. There's spaghetti in there, cheese, and chili. The video does not do justice just how disgusting this was.
I had to get away from that corner.
I went to Skyline twice over the weekend. I love Skyline chili. This chili had been sitting out for like some time period.
It smelled so bad in that part of the arena.
Mixed into that chili were socks with make-believe rings, and then there's actually only one real ring in there, which was my Super Bowl ring, that they had to try and find. One in each pool. But there was an unfortunateness. As you guys know, this game existed because I continually lose my Super Bowl ring. And I don't even know if Travis still knows this, but I legitimately lost my Super Bowl ring in this event. They could not find it. This is Jets Jake searching through the chili to try and find the sock that had my Super Bowl ring in it. We have still yet to find it.
What did you expect to happen?
I thought that we would just go in the pool and get the ring afterwards.
You're such a imbecile.
Greg got a metal detector. There's actually metal in Skyline chili. There's traces of iron within the chili itself. So it's an impossible task to try and use a metal detector.
That's so good.
There's probably lead as well in there somewhere. It's just a hunk of metal. I'll just have another one made, I think. They can do that, right?
I don't know, Jason, probably.
Guess we're going to find out.
I love how casual Jason's being about the whole thing, but I'm not sure I'd say it's a hunk of metal. I mean, sure, it depends on who's selling it, but if Lawrence Taylor sold his ring for $230,000 and Patriots owner Robert Kraft sold his for just over $1 million, then I'd say it's a little valuable.
$275,000. Might want to hang on to that one.
Anyway, Jason's one of the GOATs, so I'm sure he'll be fine. He can have another one remade. But while we're on the topic of GOATs, Tom Brady was the cause of a little controversy after Eagles receiver A.J. Brown changed his profile pic to TB12. And then it didn't take long for conspiracy theorists to share that A.J. Brown followed new Patriots quarterback Jacoby Brissett and wide receiver KJ Osborne. Oh, but if that's not enough, then it was taken a step further with some trying to link AJ to potential trade talks after Patriots GM Elliott Wolf had said the team would be looking to trade for a wideout. Here's the problem. There's not a whole lot of news going on, so of course, as soon as this happens, everyone says, oh my gosh, AJ wants out of Philly. Except how many times does this dude need to defend himself and say that he wants to stay in Philly? It's like they're intentionally trying to run Swole Batman out of Gotham. By the way, just in case you were wondering why AJ changed his profile pic, he grew up a Patriots fan and clarified saying TB12 is my favorite player ever. I watched The Dynasty and it brought back some memories from my childhood. And number 11 then also encouraged haters to go look up 2015 when Brady was disrespected to see these similarities, while sharing that he is motivated. Like for real, why on earth did some people freak out about this? Or let me clarify, why does the media freak out about this?
Why are you the way that you are? I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Hold on, you thought that was bad? Then in case you didn't see it, you're gonna think this is worse after WIP posted a poll with the question, does Jalen Hurts' demeanor rub you the wrong way?
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
Y'all already know this, but they are absolutely just the worst. But anyway, let's move on to some actual news, as the Eagles are showing interest in Notre Dame running back Audric Estime. Of course, let's not forget that Eagles running back coach Jamal Singleton conducted drills for Estime during the Senior Bowl, and there was even further interest beyond that. Yet, is he the right choice for the Eagles? I mean, those in favor know he's a runner who possesses a lot of physicality. Joining just Jonathan Brooks, Bijan Robinson, Christian McCaffrey, James Conner, Joe Mixon, and Derrick Henry as the only Power 5 running backs with more than 50 yards after contact and receiving yards per game since 2014. Obviously, those names speak for themselves, but that's an impressive list to be on. So not a surprise that he's described by multiple scouts as a guy who's always looking to push through contact and will make a defender miss in the backfield with above-average agility. I mean, there really wasn't a more productive running back in college football than the 5'11", 225-pound 20-year-old. However, I don't just love the fact that he ran a 4.71 40. Sure, speed's not everything, especially when you've got the physicality Estime does, so I guess I'm fine with the Eagles having interest. It's just that I really prefer they don't draft him until like the 5th round. And I've got a handful of other running backs that I like a little bit better. But how would y'all feel if the Birds decided to take Estime? Let me know in the comments. Alright, let's get into this whole Isaiah Rodgers drama. After the NFL decided to officially reinstate several members who previously violated the NFL's gambling policy in Washington Commanders Shaka Toney, free agents Rashad Berry, Quintez Cephas, CJ Moore, and Demetrius Taylor. Which is good for them, but as you know by now, Eagles corner Isaiah Rodgers was not on that list. Now, he did post a hype video and has continually maintained that he's ready to go as soon as the league is. But it's a little alarming Rodgers wasn't included in the reinstatement. By the way, just in case you're a little fuzzy on the details, let's recap how we got here. So rewind back to June last year when Rodgers was suspended indefinitely. Keyword there, indefinitely. Not a year or two, just indefinitely. Anyway, the Eagles signed him in August after the league announced that suspension, but here's the kicker. The reason Rodgers was suspended is because he placed more than 100 bets on NFL games, including some specifically on Colts games. Now, it is worth noting that the majority of those bets were in the $25 to $50 range, but still not the best look. Plus, add to that the fact that Rodgers also put $1,000 on an over-under bet for Colts running back Jonathan Taylor, which he ended up winning that bet, and you can see part of the issue. Of course, this past February in an interview with ESPN, the 26-year-old said the bets weren't really serious and just something to entertain, and that he was ultimately just trying to help friends and family out since at the time betting wasn't legal in Florida, but it was in Indiana where he was. Obviously, whatever you believe, those bets aren't life-changing money, but to his credit, Rodgers did say that he knew the rules and just didn't think that he'd get caught. So now he accepts what comes with it, and for those wondering or thinking the reinstatement will be a year from his original suspension date, John McMullen reported from a league source that Rodgers was eligible for petition for reinstatement after the conclusion of the season, which was in February. However, his status remains under review. Just in case you want more proof on that, Rashad Berry and Demetrius Taylor were announced on the same day as Isaiah Rodgers, but now they're reinstated. Yet again, why would Rodgers not be reinstated when several players were? I mean, it's a fair question. Could it possibly be because he bet on his team? I mean, I think we're all aware how serious that actually is. Heck, yeah, times have changed and it's a little bit different, but think about the impact gambling had on Pete Rose's career and legacy. And like Anthony DeBona pointed out, the NFL introduced a new policy in September of 2023 that stated players who place a bet involving their own team will be suspended a minimum of 2 years. But for the record, that was after he'd already placed those bets. So surely the NFL wouldn't be looking to make an example of the former Colts corner like that.
That's not fair.
It's not fair, but it's also the no fun league, do what we want NFL. Although I gotta think that surely the NFL Players Association would step in if this escalated into a longer sentence because they decided to change the rules. And granted, this was before the change of the rules, but Calvin Ridley is a great example to look at from when he was back at the Falcons, since he made what he calls the worst mistake of his life betting on football, which included his own team. Now, technically, Ridley was away from the Falcons when he made the bets, but he was still on the team. Yet he ended up being reinstated after one season. Look, I hope this ends up being nothing and more of just a delay for a couple days. However, because I'm posting a video entitled Isaiah Rodgers and Why He's Still Not Reinstated, most likely that'll be a good thing, because usually whenever I do that, then all of a sudden the news changes. So hopefully I'm the good luck charm there, but regardless, I mean, Rodgers being reinstated seems like there's already a precedent to make that happen. I mean, I gotta imagine that both Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman did their homework before adding Rodgers, especially given the Calvin Ridley situation. However, with him being the only one who's publicly admitted to betting on his team out of the guys I mentioned previously, perhaps he's facing a bigger punishment. Anyway, what do y'all think about all this? And given the recent updates, when do you expect Rodgers to be reinstated? I used to not be concerned, but now I'm not so sure, quite honestly. Which I would argue justifies the Birds' plans for going cornerback in the first round. Because remember, Jeffrey Lurie said back in March that Rodgers is a key part of the Eagles' planning going forward, and that it was a smart move by Howie to acquire Isaiah, while also being very optimistic the 26-year-old would be reinstated very soon. So it makes even more sense that NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah said yesterday that he wouldn't sleep on the Eagles trading up for Terrion Arnold or Quinyon Mitchell based on what he's heard and the team need there. And personally, y'all know my preference is Mitchell, but honestly, I mean, just the fact that you would get a corner for the first time in 20 years in the first round would be awesome. Yet again, I'm in the camp of if Rodgers was on this team, he could be a game changer. Because Rodgers has 61 kick returns in his career, including a 101-yard touchdown and 6 other 40-yard plus returns. And with that 4.28 speed, he could certainly be a weapon with the new kickoff rule. And whether it's on the outside or trying him in the slot, Rodgers clearly shows next-level competitiveness, intensity, and consistency to break up passes and make receivers' lives very difficult. Oh yeah, while also creating a lot of turnovers. Anyway, I'm not saying it's a major thing, but it is definitely noteworthy. Yet at the same time, there's no way Howie Roseman was putting all of his eggs in one basket, or even the majority there. So definitely going to be interested to see what they do in the draft. And a reminder that me and Thomas will be live streaming, so come hang out and enter our draft league for a chance to win the jersey of your choice. All you got to do is send me the money to Venmo or Cash App, more details in the description, and whatever dollar amount you give gets you the amount of entries into the randomized spinner as well. As always, hit me up if you have any questions, and I'll catch y'all later on the live stream. This has been the Philly Special.